So I'm going to rant a little bit here. This is definitely not some kind of planned conversation. I'm just so exhausted by the white therapy world, the white spirituality world, the white counseling world, the white healing world, the white social justice world, constantly trying to shove down our throats ideas about the sanctity of white values that have been peddled and sold to us as a civilian nation for the last 100 years as somehow still valid in today's time. I am constantly watching on Instagram, TikTok, white therapists, white counselors, white adjacent folks, white coded folks consistently peddling this neo-colonial trauma healing paradigm, while all these Black, brown, Asian, indigenous counselors, therapists, social justice organizers are every day putting out content that, to the contrary, critiques on everything that's going on here that we are experiencing in the world right now. These multiple genocides by colonial powers that are all about the white European hegemony, the patriarchs, the patriarchal society, the elite capitalists, whether you want to call it implicit feudalism or techno-feudalism. We are living in a time of intense and obvious oppression through every means possible. The media, the academies, the colleges, consistently peddling and forcing everyone into these boxes in order to get their fucking college degrees so they can get a job. I want people to fucking understand this. I'm not college educated. Most of what happens in this world is that college-educated academics have gatekept knowledge and translated that knowledge via their own agendas for decades upon decades. And people are still repeating it as if there isn't an agenda happening, and there hasn't been an agenda happening. And so while I am not fully anti-college, you have to understand that a large mass of translations, anthropological data, what trickles down to the student is already in some way given a green light by the project of empire. You understand me? So when people are forced into these college programs to become a counselor, and they're being fed this kind of nonsense on the daily so that they can get a degree, how do you not think that this system isn't corrupt from Jump Street? You know what I'm saying? And then we have these people that are really popular, and usually they're white or they're loved by white people, and that's what makes them popular. And they speak in riddles. They speak in fucking tongues, basically, about very important working class issues. But they're speaking to a literati class. And this has been happening for thousands of years. Don't get me wrong. This happened in China. This happened in Tibet. This happened in India. All the places that white people stole all their so-called spiritual knowledge from, it's also happened there. But who gets to be popular? And who gets to spread the message that is greenlit by the colonial project? And who does it cater to? Who and how and what and why are we doing here, where what gets spread virally is usually catering to a largely white, largely college educated, largely fragile subsection of human beings, right? Not the working class of all colors, because they're talking in ways that only a small section of people can even understand, right? Even I get accused of being too much of the intelligentsia, but I gotta really say, you get attacked on all sides when you do this. I like learning, but I try to learn from the ground. I don't try to learn from a tower, right? I'm learning from the ground. I'm not college educated. I didn't get those privileges. You understand? So I'm watching all these very popular people with multiple degrees upon degrees, masters and fucking doctorates. And the more you're entrenched in that business where you have to stay safe for those people who think that you are valid because you have those letters, then you are not allowed, or you just don't want to talk about what's really going on in a real way. Because you've built your whole fucking miniature empire to sort of help people, but really it's a project of empire. And you may not know it, but God damn it, I see it. Like Jordan Peterson, Brene Brown, all these other people too. It's just the farce of white values constantly being peddled as normal, and that there's something pure about it. This kind of Anglo-Saxon cosplay, this like Southern antebellum Mark Twain animism, like this horrible nonsense that I think Mark Twain would probably barf at it, to be honest, but I can't describe the insanity that I'm seeing. The aesthetic witchcraft that is going on, the aesthetic bamboozlement, the selling of the snake oil over and over and over again to people that are clinging to this idea of, this puritanical salvation that has just seeped into every spiritual and therapeutic modality in the West, and the West isn't a geographic region at this point, just like whiteness isn't merely a skin color. It is a system of behaviors, of thoughts, a narrative. It is a fucking narrative, you see? And so I'm watching these two sides of the internet battle for supremacy, really. And it's this tribalism, right? But I gotta tell you, even if the POC side isn't sort of complete in their view, it's a hell of a lot better than the white side. It's a hell of a lot better than what I see from white therapists who are like constantly trying to play it safe in a world that is not fucking safe. So who are you talking to? Boomers? Are we still trying to convince racist grandmothers and grandfathers and uncles and aunts about something? Are we still trying to say, oh, these people have all the money, I need to be friends with them, and I need to make them, what are we fucking doing? So I'm on here because I'm really exhausted. I'm just so exhausted by watching white therapists and white counselors who have platforms either say the wrong thing, like total bullshit, showing their asshole to the world with skid marks all over it because they are trying to two sides this shit, like, oh, the both sides have valid points, like, what sides? It's the elites versus us, kids. There's no fucking sides. You're disposable. This is bootlicker shit. So we have this side, and then, we have the POCs who are on here every day trying to disseminate correct information and correcting misinformation and miseducation, correcting the propaganda. And I don't agree with 100% of everybody's approach, and that's not the point. The point is, at this one tiny point is that if you are a white healer in any regard, you have the responsibility to wake up and use your platform to tell the truth. And if you don't tell the truth, you have earned the disrespect and the exile that will eventually come your way. Because you have to repair that abuse of power. Whether you think you have power or not, it is not the point. I'm a mixed race person, and half or maybe even 60% of my genetics is European, white people. And I have tried to use this to fight against whiteness for my whole life. And I have still been told that I'm a white person. So I do not get rewarded for this, okay? I am not rewarded for this because I don't accept white culture as a gift, okay? I'm an outsider. I don't accept the so-called gift of assimilation that I could just do it. I could just do it. I could fucking cut my hair. I could dress in a slightly different way. I could talk in a slightly different way, and I would be totally and 100% assimilated into white culture. But I'm not doing that because that's not in integrity. I don't understand, really, the thought process that goes through people's heads who are catering to the Project of Empire in all of these various ways, in order to pay their rent, in order to get followers, in order to get likes, in order to not get a divorce, in order to make their racist family still like them. I don't have a family, to be honest, because I disagree with people when they're full of shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have the responsibility, whatever skin we're in, to use whatever power and privilege and access we have been allowed by the Project of Empire to fight against empire. That's what we owe all the children who have been brutally murdered in the last 500 years, right? I'm part Puerto Rican. In some way, that part of my lineage understands colonization very well. Ground zero for the colonization of the Americas. So I just really fucking want you to get your shit together. I've been working at this as a rogue outsider folk healing counselor for about 5-6 years on the internet, right? And a lot of bad shit has gone down. There have been dozens of white therapists who have learned from me and told me to my face that my work is better than anything they were trained in. You understand what I'm saying? I've been told this multiple times by people with PhDs, with master's degrees. But I don't see those same people speaking out in a certain way. And, everyone's got to protect themselves. I totally understand that. But I want you to hear it from my point of view, how it feels to be told one thing and then in the public arena be completely almost shunned as a fucking stupid person, right? This is the world we actually live in, a world of hypocrisy, a world of colonial abuse of power, patriarchal abuse of power, interpersonal abuse of power, in order to covet the white client who has medical insurance that can pay for your sessions and put food on your table. And I'm real sorry that this is the intersection of misogyny, of racism, classism. I'm real sorry it's so fucking complicated. You know, to be completely fucking honest, I'm real sorry you feel paralyzed all the time. You feel like you're in the golden handcuffs. You know that phrase, the golden handcuffs, right? Like the job that you have that you can't leave because it pays all your fucking debt, but it's, you know, really actually a subset of the Project of Empire or something like that. It's really kind of abusive. I'm real fucking sorry that the way the real world actually is hella complex and dangerous and sad and fucked up. Like, I'm real sorry that that's the case. But I would think that people in our line of work would have dealt with that already. You know? Just as like the baseline of entering the playing field. Like if I'm going to go play football, I'm going to put on a fucking helmet and I'm going to train, because that first time I get fucking hit, I'm going to realize what the fucking game actually is that I'm playing. Instead, we have people that have been protected by the likes of white folk, generally white women, because they've told white women what they wanted to hear for years. They've written books for white women of a certain monetary class, of a certain financial level. They've written books for them. They've done seminars for them. They've done trainings for them, courses for them. They've told those white women exactly what they wanted to hear. And they've told white men too, right? And when you build your foundation, when you build your castle on top of that graveyard, eventually the chickens come home to roost. There's no fucking question that all of this hypocrisy that has been built up is going to crumble violently. But these people who have multiple houses, book deals, speaking gigs, get to speak in colleges, get $5,000 to fucking talk their shit to a bunch of young, impressionable, wannabe missionaries at colleges who go out, save the world, save the brown people. Go save the brown people. They need your fucking help. They don't fucking need our fucking help. Okay? We need to get our shit together as a community and understand that the privilege of being in the heart of empire requires us to perform a different job in the destruction of that empire. Because until we do that and topple down all of our false heroes and make them shut the fuck up and stop indoctrinating incels and new wave white feminists, until we stop that from happening, empire will continue to oppress those folks who just need the boot off their neck. They just need the boot off their neck. They don't need our fucking help, other than to remove the fucking chokehold. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all of you little shits, okay? Because this is going to get shared and I'm going to make myself even more hated, okay? All of you little shits need to be critiqued in public. You need to understand that that is love. You need to come clean. You need to wash the blood off your hands, just like I have to do every day, right? And you need to use your platforms and your voices and your practices to to actually help people, to actually tell the truth, to actually understand what honesty and critical perception are, to actually understand how the nervous system actually works, not inside of a bubble narrative of colonial supremacist ideologies. You need to actually understand this stuff. Not just, oh, Peter Levine, I took Peter Levine's class for fucking $5,000 and now I'm so SE certified. Are you fucking joking me? This is the kind of bullshit that's still being, lifted up onto this pedestal of like, we're going to heal people from PTSD if they just do these fucking exercises. This is complete dishonesty. Because we are so interconnected with each other and the atmosphere and the land and the animals and the plants and the fungi and the bacteria and the ancestors and the descendants, we are so entwined into that actual mix that this colonial surgery, the psychic surgery ideology, that somehow you can just do some fucking exercises and like that's your self-development project and that's how you're gonna heal your trauma, is really, really just, it's like the lie you tell kids when they ask where do babies come from. It's just this super reductive, simplistic, Band-Aid on a bullet hole kind of bullshit, And we keep doing it, and I keep seeing people doing it, I have heard the stories behind the scenes. I have story after story after story of the hypocrisy that goes on behind the scenes of these multi-million-dollar global trauma healing institutions. And it all comes out. It's all the same. It's exactly the shit that you would imagine. It's exactly the kind of hypocritical, white supremacist, patriarchal, colonized fucking nonsense. It's the exact same power dynamic bullshit. It's the exact same, just fucking horse blinders on, in order to keep the hamster wheel of feudalism running. Because we are in a feudalist society. We never actually left. We just have new aristocracy. They call themselves capitalists. So I'm going to imagine that all the people that are doing healing work in any regard, folk healing, therapeutic healing, psychology, counseling, massage therapy, physical therapy, all of it, I'm going to fucking imagine that you actually got into this work because you actually give a shit. I'm just going to imagine that for a second. And if that's the case, then what gives? You have to at some point be willing to leave the strategy that you see to be harmful in order to actually help people. You have to be able to see that you use what you were given in the project of empire and you change sides. At some point, you're going to have to do that, or you're just going to become further deluded and addicted. And I'm not saying it has to look like what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is from my perspective and my point of view, and it's extremely outsider. I have no safety net. I have very little allyship, right? So I'm not saying that what you're going to do is going to look like me, but when I keep seeing these 20, 30 second, these fucking like hyper optimized social media reels and these book excerpts and these like memes that are just really designed to get the white gaze and that algorithm, that capitalist, feudalist, techno feudalist algorithm, to get them more likes and get them more brand deals and get them more business. When I see that this is the way it has gone, I have very little hope for you, your family, your children, your souls. I have very little hope for that. And I don't really peddle in hope, but I have very low expectations and I'm still constantly disappointed. So what's that about? What's it about if this is sort of the trend? I just want you to think about that. I'm going to end my fucking rant. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to do something with it. But for fuck's sake, get with the fucking program. Harp on these people. Shame them into changing sides. I'm serious. Get all your fucking heroes, and when you go to their fucking events, call them out in public. Like some of my friends do. Asking these white healers about blackness, and they go crazy because they can't fucking even deal with the word white. This fucking Anglo-Saxon neo-pagan cosplay bullshit that they're into. They can't even deal with the word white. And we're thinking that these people are elders. But they can't even fucking deal with words. And they're calling themselves elders. You know who I'm fucking talking about. You see their ads just as much as I do. This is the game, folks, and it's a real dangerous game. People are dying. People are fucking dying, and sooner or later, it will be us. So if that doesn't get you going, I don't really know what will. But what I can say is that there is a narrative war. And it's happening on this battleground of the platforms, these techno-feudalist platforms, and these are all projects of empire. These are all projects of empire. And you have to ask yourself about your healing business. Is it also a project of empire? Like for real. Like really fucking for real. All right, friends. I'm going to go do something else now. Shit.